I'll catch this bird for you, but it ain't gonna be easy. Bad fish. Not like going down the pond chasing bluegills or tommycats.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 Steven Spielberg movies.
Shooter! Shooter!
For this list, we're looking at the most popular, acclaimed, and legendary movies directed by Steven Spielberg. There is a spoiler alert in effect. Which of these is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. Number 20, AI, Artificial Intelligence. This science fiction film began with Stanley Kubrick, who wished to adapt Brian Aldiss' short story Super Toys Last All Summer Long.
You are neither flesh nor blood. You are not a dog or a cat or a canary. You were designed and built specific like the rest of us.
However, he didn't think that child actors could convincingly portray the character of David because of the challenge of being so young. Following Kubrick's death in 1999, AI was given to Spielberg, and child superstar Haley Joel Osment was cast in the role of David. Osment proved Kubrick wrong with his great performance, and the film proved a remarkable visual and auditory experience.
If you can bring back other people, why can't you bring back her?
Its climate change story is also even more relevant today than it was in 2001, which has helped AI age wonderfully. Number 19, War of the Worlds. In 2005, it was Spielberg's turn to adapt H.G. Wells' iconic novel. It was by far the most ambitious adaptation yet, complete with the star power of Tom Cruise and a $130 million budget. The results were generally great. Some people remember this film for its clunky ending, but about 100 of its 116 minutes make for spectacular entertainment. Cruise is his typically excellent self as flawed father Ray Ferrier, and Dakota Fanning proved her talents as a child actor.
Get in, Manny, or you're gonna die. Okay.
The movie's special effects and sound design are also wondrous, offering up one of the scariest alien invasions in modern movie history. Number 18, Duel. And we go from an extravagant $130 million sci-fi extravaganza to a road film costing $500,000.
That truck driver tried to kill me.
Kill you? Go on.
He chased me down the mountain at nearly 90 miles an hour. I don't know what else you'd call it.
At the time, Spielberg was a little-known TV director. His assistant let him know that Richard Matheson's short story was being made into a TV movie and told him to apply. He got the job, and the rest is movie history. Duel is now considered one of the finest and most influential TV movies ever made, and Spielberg proved himself an immensely talented director.
Something wrong?
The bastard turned around and came back.
It's a thrilling and frightening movie, and it heralded great things for the up-and-coming filmmaker. Number 17, Amistad. This period drama was something a little different for Spielberg, dramatizing the events of what occurred on the Spanish slave ship La Amistad.
These slaves, Your Honor, are by rights the property of Spain, and as such, under Article 9 of said treaty, are to be returned post-haste.
In July of 1839, slaves from Sierra Leone took control of La Amistad and killed both the cook and the captain. The slaves were eventually tried in the U.S., but the case was decided by the Supreme Court in their favor, and they were set free. Amistad is ultimately a heartening and uplifting true story about a desperate search for freedom, and it's produced with the typical Spielberg flair.
We desperately need your strength and wisdom to triumph over our fears, our prejudices, ourselves. Give us the courage to do what is right. And if it means civil war, then let it come.
It earned strong reviews and received Oscar nominations for its acting, cinematography, costume design, and score. Number 16, Bridge of Spies. There's just no going wrong with Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks. Once again, Spielberg adapts a true story, with this one taking place during the Cold War. Bridge of Spies is about James B. Donovan, an American lawyer who was tasked with freeing an Air Force pilot from Soviet imprisonment. Hanks plays Donovan with gusto, but he is surprisingly upstaged by Mark Rylance as Rudolph Abel. a Soviet spy who is exchanged for the pilot.
Were you beaten?
No. I was talked to. Offers were made.
What do you mean?
Offers of employment, to work for your government.
Rylance won the Academy Award for his performance, but nearly everything about this movie works. It's an old-school espionage thriller made with intelligence, heart, and high production values. In short, it's a spy movie with Spielbergian flair. Number 15, Ready Player One. Based on Ernest Cline's novel, Ready Player One is a loving nod to geek culture.
Oh, yeah.
So, Spielberg was the perfect director for it. Taking place inside a virtual reality world, Ready Player One is a visual and auditory treat that takes full advantage of late 2010s technology. It's another stellar and blustering blockbuster under Spielberg's belt, proving once again why he is a masterful filmmaker without equal. But the movie isn't all visual effects and pop culture references, as it also strikes that sweetly nostalgic tone that Spielberg has been hitting for decades. It's one of his most outsized efforts of the 2010s, and a sci-fi adventure well worth experiencing.
People need to spend more time in the real world. Because, like Halliday said, reality is the only thing that's real.
Number 14, The Post. Spielberg once again returned to the well of history for The Post. Starring the undeniable dream team of Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep, The Post chronicles the Washington Post's attempts at publishing the set of classified documents known as the Pentagon Papers. These papers shattered trust in the Johnson administration and proved extensive American involvement in Vietnam that wasn't reported to the public.
Ike Kennedy, Johnson, they violated the Geneva Convention. They lied to Congress and they lied to the public.
The all-star cast is reliably magnificent, and the period detail is exceptional. The movie also earned acclaim for its renewed topicality. The Post is Spielberg at his most political and mature.
Oh, well, we don't always get it right. You know, we're not always perfect, but I think if we just keep on it, you know, that's the job, isn't it?
Number 13, Empire of the Sun. At first, this coming-of-age war drama was not considered a big success. It was released in the mid-80s, aka the height of Spielberg's career, and grossed a disappointing $20 million in its original box office run.
China isn't our war.
We're awfully lucky, aren't we? Living here and having everything.
But time has been kind to Empire of the Sun. Christian Bale turned into one of the biggest movie stars of his time, and his performance as the imprisoned Jim Graham is one of the greatest child performances of the 80s, and that is saying something. The epic war story has also been reviewed well, and some argue that Jim's loss of innocence was an attempt by Spielberg to mature as a storyteller.
Come on, Jim. Come on, I'll take you back to your dad. You can retire. We'll fill up the pool and eat 3 meals a day.
The world simply wasn't ready for Empire of the Sun, but we are now. Number 12, The Color Purple. This is perhaps the most un-Spielberg-like film of the director's long and legendary career. With The Color Purple, Spielberg was trying something new, something far more grounded.
You ain't got it in you to understand. I love Suge Avery. Always have, always will. Should have married her when I had a chance.
He was, of course, known for his legendary blockbusters, and The Color Purple was very different. For it, Spielberg and his team of filmmakers traveled to North Carolina and fashioned a powerful period piece about the lives of African-American women in early 20th century Georgia. Spielberg's down-to-earth film was praised for its affecting story, which was adapted from the Pulitzer-winning novel by Alice Walker.
Would you like to work for me? Be my maid? Hell no.
It certainly didn't belong to the existing Spielberg brand, but it was a huge critical success, with 11 Oscar nominations. Number 11, Lincoln. Only Spielberg can turn a 2.5-hour movie about Abraham Lincoln into a popular blockbuster, grossing nearly $300 million.
What I favor is ending the war. Once we do away with slavery, the Rebs will quit fighting. Since slavery is what they're fighting for. Mr. Lincoln, you always said so.
Loosely based on the Lincoln biography Team of Rivals, Lincoln stars Daniel Day-Lewis as the famous president and concerns his valiant efforts to pass the 13th Amendment. It's an ambitious film, both in terms of style and subject matter. But Spielberg makes it look easy. Day-Lewis is typically perfect as Lincoln, and the movie's stellar production design transported viewers to mid-19th century America.
We're entirely unready for emancipation. There's too many questions.
We're unready for peace, too, ain't we? Yeah, when it comes, it'll present us with conundrums and dangers greater than any we faced during the war, bloody as it's been.
Lincoln earned 12 Oscar nominations and won for both production design and lead actor. It's a gorgeous movie with heavy subject matter, and also happens to be wickedly entertaining. Number 10, Catch Me If You Can. Another fantastic period piece, Catch Me If You Can concerns the early life and crimes of con artist Frank Abagnale.
From 1964 to 1967, I successfully impersonated an airline pilot for Pan Am Airways, and I flew over 2 million miles for free.
Those looking for historical accuracy will not find it here, because apparently most everything in Abagnale's autobiography is, shall we say, exaggerated. In the end, the ultimate confidence man kinda conned us all, even Steven Spielberg. But the movie is a relentless and fast-paced adventure that proves enormously enjoyable and entertaining, both through its style and substance.
Oh! Merry Christmas! How is it that we're always talking on Christmas, Paul?
Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio make for a tremendous pairing, and the film's 60s design is nothing short of gorgeous. Number 9, Munich. This action thriller is one of Spielberg's lowest-grossing movies, but that doesn't detract from its quality. Spanning an epic 163 minutes, Munich tells the historical story of Operation Wrath of God. This was a covert mission undertaken by the Israeli National Intelligence Agency to assassinate those responsible for the Munich massacre at the 1972 Olympics.
The peace of what have been called the Serene Olympics was shattered just before dawn this morning, about 5 o'clock.
The movie contains a lot of great and tightly directed action, but it also asks many difficult questions of its viewers while presenting its morally complex story. Eric Bana is great in the lead role of Avner Kaufman, and the film is masterfully put together by Spielberg and his team, resulting in 5 Oscar nominations.
Do you want me to tell you what I did?
No.
Munich may not be one of Spielberg's most popular movies, but it is one of his best. Number 8, Minority Report. One of the finest sci-fi movies of the 2000s, Minority Report is Spielberg at his smartest and most ambitious. The story takes place in the near future of 2054, in which a special police department stops crimes before they're even committed.
All right, what he's doing now we call scrubbing the image, looking for clues as to where the murder is going to happen.
They do this with the help of 3 psychics, but things turn sour when they predict that the police chief will commit a killing. The futuristic setting presented in Minority Report is both visually expressive and surprisingly prescient, as it shares many commonalities with our current state of modernity. The movie also comments on many complex themes while telling its exciting and mysterious story about the age-old debate between fate and free will.
Why'd you catch that? Because it was gonna fall. You're certain? Yeah, but it didn't fall. You caught it. The fact that you prevented it from happening doesn't change the fact that it was going to happen.
In short, it is a masterpiece of science fiction. Number 7, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Steven Spielberg loves making alien movies, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind is easily one of his best. The film flips the alien invasion trope on its head, offering friendly aliens and a welcoming human body. Rather than going down the easy invasion route, the movie focuses more on themes of communication and interaction. The story is also grounded in the fascinating character arc of Richard Dreyfuss's Roy Neary, a family man who becomes unhealthily obsessed with the aliens.
Well, I guess you've noticed something
It's a little strange with Dad.
But that's not to say the movie isn't also blockbuster entertainment. It is, and it has all the trappings of a fun, family-friendly Spielberg movie. No one does adventure quite like him. Number 6. Jaws. This horror film is not only one of Spielberg's best, it's also one of the most legendary movies in history. Jaws was heavily marketed at the time, and to great effect. It became the highest-grossing movie in history, and remained as such for 2 years until it was dethroned. It introduced the very concept of the summer blockbuster, and every modern summer release from the Avengers on down owes its time slot and arguably its very existence to Jaws.
Shark! The shark!
But this isn't one of those movies whose history has overtaken its quality. Jaws is still remarkably effective, from its breathtaking filmmaking to its grisly violence. It's the granddaddy of many modern horror movies, and it still trumps most of them. Number 5. E.T. the Extraterrestrial. When people think of Steven Spielberg, they probably think of E.T. It is the quintessential Spielbergian movie, and it contains all of his beloved and oft-copied tropes. Its tone and atmosphere have been relentlessly borrowed throughout the years, yet it remains the perfect family movie. The story is both beautiful and touching, and its sense of childhood adventure is irresistibly nostalgic. It's also an impeccably made film, from Spielberg's flawless direction to its Oscar-winning music, sound design, and visual effects. E.T. makes people believe in the magic of movies and the wonders of good filmmaking. Such is the genius of Spielberg. Number 4. Saving Private Ryan. This one just proves that Spielberg can do it all, from heartwarming family adventure to a harrowing and horrifically violent World War II epic. Once again, Spielberg crafts a quintessential film, and Saving Private Ryan is often regarded as one of the greatest war movies ever made.
That's quite a view. Yes, it is.
It's a masterpiece, a movie both touching and terrifying. Of particular note is the movie's transcendent filmmaking, with handheld cameras offering an uncomfortable first-hand glimpse into the horrors of war. It's one of the most brutal depictions of battle in movie history, but the violence never overwhelms the story or its characters.
Earn this. Earn it.
It's the perfect blend of deft storytelling and flawless filmmaking. Like we said, it is a masterpiece. Number 3. Jurassic Park. If you were lucky enough to see Jurassic Park in 1993, it was comparable to watching King Kong in 1933 or Star Wars in 1977. While watching it, everyone knew they were witnessing something special, and that it was a watershed moment in the history of cinema.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park delivers exactly what it promised: spectacular dinosaur action and a wonderful amount of it. The animatronic work still looks amazing to this day, and the movie's use of CGI was completely groundbreaking. Jurassic Park was without equal, and it was rightfully regarded as an instant classic. It is the ultimate dinosaur film of the modern era, and maybe even of all time. Number 2. The Indiana Jones franchise. Although he will no longer be behind the lens for any further sequels, Spielberg has helmed what could be the most consistent franchise in movie history. Even its relatively lesser entries, say Temple of Doom and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, still make for spectacular entertainment and are great adventure films in their own rights. In fact, the series has earned 7 Academy Awards throughout its run, including a Special Achievement Award for sound effects editing. The series is a modern interpretation of the classic serial adventures of the 30s and 40s, offering up blockbuster entertainment with high production values, a thrilling sense of adventure, and one of the most charismatic leads in movie history. There's simply no going wrong with any of these films.
Like Indiana. We named the dog Indiana.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Schindler's List. Easily one of the most difficult to watch movies ever produced. Schindler's List delves into a fittingly nightmarish story from the Holocaust. With powerful performances from Liam Neeson as Oskar Schindler and Ralph Fiennes as Nazi war criminal Amon Goeth, this astonishingly impactful film, based on Schindler's real-life efforts, became a hugely important cultural phenomenon for discussing the horrors of World War II, the nature of evil, and the human responsibility to save lives under the most extreme conditions.
He shot the woman from the steps because she meant nothing to him. She was one of a series, neither offending or pleasing him.
With astonishing skill and sensitivity, Spielberg showcases his masterful filmmaking and presents one of cinema's most haunting and realistic depictions of the Holocaust. Schindler's List is the opposite of easy viewing, but it is essential viewing.
I could have gone one more person, and I didn't.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.